always a pleasure to have you, our viewers, to continue to receive information that you can use on the link. Welcome to the link this week. And tonight my guest is Mr. Patrick Mpairwe, who is the supervisor motor vehicle licensing at the headquarters in Nakawa of Uganda Revenue Authority, by the way. Patrick, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Today we are discussing motor vehicles.
Yes.
People
please.
don't know that once you buy a car, some obligations can remain. Let's start with that one. What are my obligations, or what are the obligations of every vehicle owner as far as you people of URA are concerned?
Thank you very much, NTV. First of all, allow me to thank NTV for inviting me to share this topical matter of motor vehicles. It is an issue that is a very simple one, but seems to be challenging a number of our people. Okay. And a good evening to our people watching us on NTV. I'm very sure before we leave, we shall be very comfortable and shall have been well informed on the obligations. Yes. Back to your Samuel. Back to your question of the obligations of a motor vehicle owner. Motor vehicle registration and ownership is governed under the Traffic and Road Safety Act 1998 as amended. And in there is embedded requirements or obligations of a motor vehicle owner. Section 12 provides for the registration of a motor vehicle. The motor vehicle you shall own in the jurisdiction of Uganda must have been properly been exported from the country of export. Okay. And properly imported in Uganda, which means it is properly registered and all revenues and fees properly accounted for.
With URA?
Exactly, with URA. Now, of course, you may be wondering how can such a thing be? Yes, we've had a few instances where people have not adhered.
Stolen cars outside.
Exactly, and have not adhered to that requirement. Yeah. And as much as possible get, can I say, inconvenienced in the, when we discover such cases, yeah. Then that is, of course, we're talking about registration and allocating a registration number plate.
Patrick, let me say I have registered my vehicle. Me, I have no issues, I've registered.
Yes, sir.
Aren't I done with URA?
Oh, yes, yes, indeed, you're done, but there are still further requirements.
I'll tell you which ones.
Well, let me delve into that matter now. Of course, Samuel, you will buy a car, but at some point in time, you may want to transfer. Now, remember, Samuel, that the law, Section 31, requires the seller to apply to the licensing officer for the transfer of a motor vehicle from his own name to the person he has sold to. Okay. The same section also requires the buyer, as much as possible as it requires the seller, to have the vehicle registered to his names. So in other words, in any of those instances, any of them can face penalties for failure to transfer their said motor vehicle. Now, people have to understand this, that it is very irresponsible for you to have a vehicle out there registered to your names and is not actually used by yourself. For example, maybe you disposed it off, maybe a while ago. Now, whatever happens or whatever
wrong happens with that
on that motor vehicle still comes back to you, the registered owner. The registered owner. Now, it could be maybe a hit and run. It is you we shall.
When somebody else is driving it,
you shall be responsible. It could be a commercial vehicle. The taxes due, income tax, they will come to you. We shall be talking. We can talk about the transfer. For example, if you want to cross the border, you cannot easily cross the border if the vehicle is not what? In your names, yes. And as much as possible, when you get difficulties with a motor vehicle, for example, you want to apply for, say, lost number plates, you cannot do business with URA if the vehicle is not in your names. And that is the biggest problem we have with most of our dear citizens out there.
Before our time goes very fast,
yes, please.
There are other areas apart from transfer.
Oh, yes, oh, yes. Yes, there is the alteration, which is provided for under Section 18, that a motor vehicle, if, for example, you have changed the engine number, if you have changed color, or you have changed maybe the seating capacity, the onus is on the registered owner to inform the licensing officer, the following amendments or changes were made on my motor vehicle, and they shall be ordinarily, of course, changed on the register after paying their prescribed fee. Then we have the deregistration of a motor vehicle.
What does that mean?
Deregistration is when we have to remove the vehicle off our register.
Hey.
It is a requirement to inform us that I have this motor vehicle which has been permanently exported, or maybe it is permanently destroyed, to surrender to us our number plate. You apply for it online, then we shall cancel that registration of our system to ensure that...
So all these number plates we see on vehicles parked in garages,
they
should come back to you.
Indeed, they should be brought back to URA.
Patrick, let's move because of time.
Oh yes, oh yes.
When I import a car, and this is a common complaint.
Yes, please.
People say that I bought a car and according to the computation, all
Yes,
the
please.
taxes,
Yes, please.
I'm supposed to pay, for instance, 8 million.
I understand.
URA comes and slaps you and says,
Yes.
you are going to pay maybe 15.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Why does that happen?
Now, what you have to understand that a new vehicle, we shall use the invoice value
Okay.
to, of course, arrive at the tax payable. However, you have to understand that used vehicles are not ordinarily also handled in a similar manner, because you have to appreciate that most of these vehicles are old.
Absolutely.
And you cannot understand under what circumstances the gentleman could have brought the motor vehicle. Motor vehicles, you know, if I buy a similar vehicle with you from Japan, you'll discover that we are having different purchase arrangements.
Prices.
Exactly.
But is that a problem, Patrick?
That
If
is
I
not the-
negotiated.
That's not the problem. The problem is that we need, first of all, this one is provided for under the customs, all customs
Yes.
instruments here. We need to harmonize, to play a fair and predictable, whereby that in case I have to import this motor vehicle, I'm aware of the tax I shall be paying. So that it is consistent, it is fair, and it is something that you cannot ordinarily say, how come the other person paid 30 and how come the other person paid 20?
So we say if it is a newer Spacio,
Please.
whichever price you have negotiated, the tax is going to be the same for all Spacios of that year.
Exactly. If it is old and used, indeed, that's what we shall use.
Okay,
yes, please.
that's very interesting.
Yes, please.
I go to a bond now. Third
Right.
question. I
Yes,
go to a
please.
bond
Yes, please.
and buy a car, and most
Yes,
people
please.
go to the bond.
Yes.
What are the things I should watch out for before I take that car home,
Okay.
as far as URA is concerned?
Yeah, now your question, I've understood it two ways. There are vehicles from the bond, these are unregistered. Of course, you go through the customs proper process of registration.
Okay.
That one, ideally, it is a very clear process because you are buying an unregistered vehicle for which taxes shall be paid, and
You register
you
it.
register it and have it taken home.
Okay.
Then there are those that are parked around the bonds.
With number plates.
With number plates. Those ones, you have to understand that they are being sold by the bonds, which may not ordinarily be the owners.
Yeah.
Yes, and my understanding of the business there is that it's like kind of informal. You find a person comes, he says, I want this vehicle, 30 million, cash, exchange money, and simply drive.
So the bond is the middleman.
Yeah, exactly that.
What's the problem with that?
The problem with that is that it removes the responsibility of the registered owner to have the motor vehicle transferred to the person who has actually bought it. And yet, indeed, you should be able to purchase a vehicle from the registered owner, have the transfer regularly completed and done, and everyone is comfortable.
So if I buy that car, Patrick, that means that I have to look for the owner.
Exactly, exactly. And much before I conclude on this, make a search with URA
Yeah.
to confirm to us, to confirm to yourself that indeed the vehicle is properly registered, it has no outstanding taxes or anything that may actually curtail your beautiful car.
Or else you may have problems.
Exactly that.
Our final
yes, sir.
question tonight.
Yes, sir.
What are my obligations if I have a car with foreign number plates? We see number plates here, Kenyan number plates and Sudanese number plates.
Oh, yes. That arrangement is there. It is provided for in the Customs Act, whereby, of course, cross-border trade and visitors and the like. People shall bring their vehicles, or they're coming for temporary visit or business. Now, they are allowed to come into the country for 3 months, and they pay $20.
Okay.
Yes, for the period of stay. However, they expected to be re-exported. They shouldn't overstay.
What does that mean? I go back.
You're supposed to take it back.
If my number plate is South Sudan, I go back to South Sudan.
Exactly.
Okay.
In other words, they'll give you a period of stay, and you shall be contravening the law if you overstay the period for which you are granted.
Okay.
So that means you shouldn't overstay your welcome in Uganda territory. Otherwise, customs enforcement will impound, and of course, you know what impounding means, and it's unnecessary. Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Patrick, thank you very much. there are so many issues of motor vehicle.
Oh, yes,
and I
oh,
know
yes.
you are feeling that we haven't done enough.
Yes.
We shall bring you back, Patrick, on motor vehicles.
Thank you, Samuel. Thank
so
you,
that
Samuel.
we touch these issues. Viewers, we have touched a few key issues on motor vehicles. Many of you own motor vehicles. You sell motor vehicles, you don't transfer them. You go to the bond, you buy those vehicles parking aside. You should watch out what your obligations are, otherwise you may be in trouble with the taxman. That was the link tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.